Today I'm very excited to stand here in partnership with the FBI and other critical partners such as Othram Labs and finally bring closure to the family of Stacy Jaworski. The case first began way back in December of 1988 as the victim was found in Dade County, Georgia on the side of Interstate 59. That was over 33 years ago. But the GBI never gave up attempting to find the identity of the victim and ultimately the identity of the person who committed the crime.
Hey guys, it's Shannon with True Crime with Shannon, and I'm back with another video. But before we get into today's video topic, if you do me a quick favor, if you like the content that you're seeing, hit that like button for me, that thumbs up. It does help the video get some more traction and views here on YouTube. And also, if you haven't subscribed yet, I would really appreciate it if you would. Just hit that subscription button and also the notification bell. That way you'll be notified whenever I post a new video. Today I'm going to be talking about a cold case that we just learned yesterday has actually been solved through genetic genealogy. But before I get into that, I always do a missing persons case. And today's missing person is Andrue Trent Hires. He is last seen on July 17th of 2022. Now this poster doesn't list as much information. I actually did a quick Google check on it, and it does state he is missing out of Thomas County, Georgia, and the Grady County Sheriff's Office. He led deputies on a car chase, and then he crashed into the creek's bridge wall after he jumped out while his vehicle was still driving. So they said he jumped from the bridge, and deputies state they're not sure if he landed in the water or in the embankment, but he apparently fled the crash on foot. He was able to elude the officers, so this is why this gentleman is being sought out. And as far as the missing poster goes, here's what the family is stating. Again, his last known location is Barnett's Creek area. Trent's family has made a cry for help. If you are in the area on July 17th, please reach out to the number listed, which is the sheriff's office. His family is heartbroken and in need of answers. This is their phone number here for the sheriff's office is 229-516-5980, or you can contact 911. There is a reward available of $1,300. Again, they don't know exactly what happened to this young gentleman. He just led the officers on a chase. So it does state online that he is facing charges in Grady County after he's found, but they do hope he's found alive and okay. Again, contact 229-225-3315 if you have any information on Andrue Trent Hires, and he's just 23 years old, and he is out of the Georgia area. So today I'm going to be talking about a cold case that was actually just solved and closed through genetic genealogy and DNA. So I think this is the wave of the future, and it's really interesting what they can do now with as far as genetics with the DNA involved in it. This is a 1988 murder case that had been unsolved up till now. And actually, the victim was not known until earlier this year, back in March. So let me give you guys the information on it. It's really interesting, and I'm really glad that they were able to give some closure to this young woman's family on this. This is from Law and Crime. Authorities say they have identified both the victim and her unknown killer in a murder dating back decades. Investigators are calling this dual identification the first of its kind nationwide, with both victim and suspect being identified in the same case through genetic genealogy. Yeah, this is big stuff, guys. I really think this is a big breakthrough in what's going to be able to happen in the coming years with genealogy. The victim was missing Michigan woman Stacy Lynn Jaworski, 19. Her killer was Henry Frederick Wise, aka Haas Wise, authorities said. He would have been 34 years old during the killing. He won't face justice in criminal court, however. Authorities said he died in 1999 at the Myrtle Beach Speedway in South Carolina. Wise burned to death in a stunt car accident. So he may not face these charges, but he met his demise in a not so great way. Investigators in Georgia initially only knew Jaworski through the pseudonym Rising Fawn Jane Doe. She was found dead in December 1988 on the side of Interstate 59 in Dade County, on about the very northwest corner of the state. Leads ran cold. The Georgia Bureau of Investigation, however, reached out to the FBI, who in turn sought help from DNA testing lab Orthram, according to a press conference and press statement. Investigators were able to use suspect DNA found at the scene, said Carrie Farley, special agent in charge of the FBI's Atlanta field office. From there, authorities were able to locate a family member who was interviewed and had cooperated. Orthram confirmed a DNA match, she said. Wise was a stunt car driver, but he also worked as a truck driver for the Western Carolina Trucking Company, authorities said. He routinely took a route through Chattanooga, Birmingham, and Nashville, authorities said. This was a direct route to where Jaworski was found, said GBI Special Agent Joe Montgomery. Chattanooga is about northwest near Dade County. Wise lived sometimes in the Carolinas and sometimes in Florida, and he had family in Georgia, Montgomery said. Wise had a criminal history in Florida, Georgia, and North Carolina, ranging from theft, assault to obstruction of a police officer, authorities said. Wise's arrest predated mandatory DNA testing after a felony arrest. There was no results when investigators initially put the suspect DNA in CODIS, they said. Now Wise's DNA is in the system, and authorities suggest he may pop up if he's behind other crimes. So considering that he's had that history in 3 states, it's possible his DNA is going to pop up in other crimes. Jaworski was identified as Rising Fawn Jane Doe in January. Wise was identified as her killer in June, authorities said. Mary Beth Smith, Stacy Jaworski's mother, expresses gratitude to the FBI, GBI Special Agent Adam Jones for his relentless pursuit of the case, and GBI forensic artist Marla Lawson for her work on the composite drawing and clay rendering, the GBI said. She also thanks Dade County Sheriff Ray Cross, all the people in Dade County who took care of Stacy as she was brought home to Norton Shores, Michigan, and the Norton Shores Police Department for never giving up on finding her. Yeah, can you imagine not knowing what happened to your daughter for like 34 years? I mean, it's a sad ending, but she's got closure at this point. Authorities said Jaworski's family could not be with them for the press conference on Tuesday, but Montgomery said he had spoken to her mother, Mary Beth Smith, about the developments. A reporter asked what Smith thought about the killer already being dead. She was very at peace with it, Montgomery said. Like I said, she got very overwhelmed. Every time we talked, she gets overwhelmed, which is understandable. And this was another overwhelming thing for her to know that he's facing justice now.
Good afternoon. As Director Register just stated, we're standing before you today, almost 34 years later, to say we have finally identified Stacy Jaworski's killer. I think the most important message we could deliver today is to any victim of violent crime is that the FBI and our entire law enforcement community in Georgia will never give up, and that we'll use every technological advancement we can to seek justice for you and your family. The FBI would like to thank the GBI and the Dade County Sheriff's Office for their persistence in solving this case and for bringing us on board in 2021 to assist. Without the hard work of each participating agency, we would not have the successful resolution we do today. With all the other leads exhausted, funds were secured to use forensic genetic genealogy to generate some new leads in the case. Investigative genealogy is a relatively new process but has been used to help solve several cold cases throughout the country. Last January, through the evidence and DNA testing, we identified the victim, known as the Rising Fawn Jane Doe, as Stacy Cheharsky. With that information, agents from FBI Atlanta, Detroit, and Baltimore field offices sought to identify Stacy's killer. It did not take long. Genealogy DNA proves Henry Haas Weiss killed Stacy Cheharsky. Weiss was a truck driver who drove through Dade County, Georgia on his regular route. Weiss had a criminal history in the Southeast, all of which predated mandatory DNA testing for felony crimes. Mr. Weiss was killed in a stunt car accident in 1999. Investigators found what was believed to be the killer's DNA at the scene, but for years it could not be linked to a person. Once the FBI became involved, the DNA was traced back, and the investigation revealed Weiss had a living family member who was interviewed, cooperated, and a DNA match was confirmed. This case is key because it's the first time that we know of that investigative genealogy was used to identify both the victim and the killer in the same case. We'd like to thank Andrue Labs, which was instrumental in both identifications. Make no mistake about it, though, technology alone did not solve this case. The determination of agents in both the FBI and GBI, along with every officer who worked this case for 33+ years, helped bring this case to its conclusion. We realize solving this horrific crime does not ease the pain for Stacy's family. Nothing can. But hopefully it answers some questions. And let this serve as a warning to every murderer, rapist, and violent offender out there. The FBI and our partners will not give up. It may take years or even decades, but we are determined and we will continually seek justice for victims and their families. Thank you.
So there is the suspect on the left, and then there's Stacy on the right. A bit more about the case. The body of Stacy Lynn Cheharsky was found December 16, 1988, about 5 miles from the Alabama state line on the I-59 highway in Dade County, Georgia. For years, her identity was unknown, and that changed earlier this year when she was identified using that genealogy technology. According to her mother, Stacy was traveling from Norton Shores, Michigan throughout the country when she disappeared. She was reported missing in January of 1989 by her mother, the Norton Shores Police Department had reported. She would have been 52 years old this year, and details of her death were not shared, but she was a homicide victim according to authorities. So, considering that there are over 41,000 cold cases in this country, and that is a number from late last year, I'm sure the numbers have gone up. Considering there's that many, minimally, cold cases in this country, I am completely all for this genealogy, DNA testing, anything we need to do to find answers for these families and to bring these poor folks to justice. So I'm definitely excited about the technology. It is new, and I think that we're going to see a lot more cold cases get solved in the coming years. Let me know in the comments what you think of this case and the future of this genealogy DNA testing to bring justice to these cold cases. Do you think that this is going to be the wave of the future? I definitely think it is. I'm definitely curious to see where the FBI and the state bureaus of investigation go from here. And that's going to be it for today. I hope you guys have a great day, and most of all, stay safe.